Hey everybody, welcome back to Laptop Seniors. This is a retirement channel, of course, Laptop Seniors, and we typically are traipsing different parts of the planet trying to help everybody, get an idea of where to retire. And a lot of times, sometimes it gets left out is in your own country, the United States, or from Canada to the United States, or if you can do it, Europe to the United States. I mean, that entails immigration and a whole bunch of other things. But, a lot of people retire to Florida and Texas and the Carolinas and Georgia, essentially places where it's warm, but not everyone. And this was a bit of a surprise. I saw this article and I thought, at first I dismissed it. Well, okay, interesting picks, some of the obvious. Then it was like, you might be interested in seeing this. So what this is by this organization, actually a bunch of different organizations putting their 2 cents in, and how they rank things. And that turned into one big ranking of the top 7 cities to retire in the United States. I always take this with a grain of salt because there's so many of these type of surveys and rankings come out. And, you never really know who's doing them and that kind of thing. But I thought I'd go through it just to throw it out to you. Because a lot of these cities do make sense if you're considering retiring somewhere in the United States, not actually leaving the United States. So best places to retire in America, top 7 U.S. cities most recommended by experts, although we don't know who the experts are. Okay, and we'll go through this is, what they're gauging it on: climate, cost of living, healthcare, taxes, activities, amenities, the community, friends, and that type of thing, how easy it is to find them. And your own personality, which makes sense because you're going to match your personality to where you want to live, which is all of these other things. We've talked about these before because these are the things that you would go no matter where you're going in the world. You want to go where some climate is nice that you want, whether it's warm or not warm. Like if you're going to go to Panama, you can be on the ocean where it's super hot, or you can go to Boquete where it's sitting at 75 degrees pretty much year round. Cost of living, cheap or not. Everybody wants good health care if you're older, taxes, and all that sort of stuff. So, this makes sense, at least from that point of view. But we'll keep going. Number 1 place, Tampa, Florida. Again, I'll put a link to this particular thing down at the bottom, this article, so you can leave it. I'm just going to skim through it. Tampa's a great place. If you're going to be in Florida, the places that people usually retire are Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Naples or Fort Myers, or of course Miami, and down along the coast, Boca, West Palm, and that kind of stuff. And every other place in Florida for that matter, but those are the major ones. And Tampa certainly is a major one, and it's fairly reasonably priced considering against some other places like Naples, which is also, oddly enough, or more logically enough, I guess, on this list. So let's go to number 2. This would be a surprise, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And when you hear the name, you would think of Amish country, which is what it is. But space-wise, whatever organization that is, explains it's got a good combination of small town charm and accessible amenities like Lancaster General Health. Lancaster consistently ranks as one of the best places to retire in the United States. It's a small city, a low sales tax in the country, no sales tax on retirement benefits, which includes Social Security. So tax-wise, it's pretty decent. Moving on. Naples, Florida. Naples, as of Niche, another organization that claims it to be one of the best places to live in Florida. Naples is really nice. It's got a nice urban feel. Of course, you're on the water. You're on the ocean. It's pretty nice. One of the downsides is, depending on, your income, what you're retiring on, it's expensive there. It is not a cheap place. It may be one of the more expensive places in all of Florida to retire, although the beaches are awesome. A lot of golf courses there, tennis courts. Just adding those two together, 80 championship golf courses and 130 tennis courts, it's sort of expensive. It's an upper end type thing because a lot of places won't have that. Number 4, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Being a one-time Michigander myself, Ann Arbor is beautiful. And of course, the U of M is there, University of Michigan. And it's a university town, so you get great health care there because you can go to U of M Health, and it's a research facility for doctors and things like that. It's a great place to retire. Again, not all that cheap though, but it's good. It's a really nice place. Next one is Denver. I've never personally been to Denver other than bouncing through the airport, but we have some friends who live in Denver and they love it there. And of course, you're in the Rocky Mountains, which can be gorgeous. I know what that's like, having lived in Calgary for many years and also in the Rockies, the northern end of the Rockies. And when you walk out of your house and you look up and you're staring at the Rocky Mountains in front of you with the snow caps, particularly the sun beaming down on them, which lights them up. It's almost like somebody turns on white lights on the top of mountains. It can be pretty gorgeous. And, the air is clean and all of that sort of stuff. So Denver's on the list, number 5. Moving to number 6, another beautiful city, Charleston, South Carolina. If you want Southern charm, a coastal city to call your new home, Charleston's historical charm, along with the beaches and stuff, a top choice for retirees. And it's been that way for a while now. It's, just take a look at that. It's a gorgeous city. One of the downsides, of course, is Charleston, though, is hurricanes, because hurricanes do bounce off. They'll bounce off Florida, go out to sea for a little bit, and then come back in and wail on either Savannah or Charleston. That's where they come back inland again. Probably if you're not living right on the ocean, in Charleston, which are expensive there too. To be on one of those homes, you're going to have a lot of dough. You're probably not going to be there anyway. Perhaps the hurricanes are not that bad for you if you're, 4 or 5 miles, 6 miles, 10 miles inland from the actual coast. That's the way it would be if you were in Florida. If you were, say, living in Jacksonville, where farther away from the ocean, the better off you are. Number 7 was a surprise, Pittsburgh. And you go like, wow, really? Pittsburgh? Iron town, steel town, that kind of thing. We drive through Pittsburgh a lot when we go to Florida from Toronto. We drive down to Orlando and then come back, and you're going through Pittsburgh. Although you're skirting around the outside, they have like a circle that goes around it of interstate. Although a lot of times we'll actually stop and go through Pittsburgh, and it's a pretty town, and they've redone it nice. They've modernized it, and it's a nice city. Sort of a surprise to be on the list, but this would be one of the reasons. Pittsburgh is one of the most affordable cities on the East Coast, with an abundance of universities, culture, learning opportunities, and first-rate medical care. That would be a big one. So something to consider. I found this interesting on this site. Just, we've gone through it a bunch, and you will obviously go through it, but just some things to do for your financial planning, reviewing your retirement accounts, your Social Security, your 401ks, IRAs, or any other Social Security type thing, social insurance, maybe from Canada or Europe, whatever you have coming in after you've retired. And of course, your savings and what they generate, investments, that kind of stuff. You do want to create a budget. I keep a budget going on a Excel spreadsheet that I made. I actually offered that. If you want one, just send me an email and I'll send the one that I have to you. I keep track of all the expenses so you can see. It makes it easier to do taxes too at the end, but just to see where you are so that you don't overspend. You're staying within your budget. It's good to have a plan for health care. Research the Medicare options and insurance and what they cover depending on where you are in or out of the country. Certainly Panama, you can get some Social Security. The Advantage plan will pay some things. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of those things to check on that. I think Panama is the only place that it actually pays out of the country, but I could be wrong. Again, check on it. Paying off your debt, that's always good. Knowing the tax implications of whatever state you're going to or whatever country you're going to. Boy, they can vary widely. There's a bunch of states that have no income tax, so that's a plus. Florida, Texas being one. One of the Dakotas, I can't remember if it's North or South Dakota, doesn't have it. I believe Vermont or New Hampshire. They also don't have any personal income tax for the state. Obviously, federal is going to be with you for life if you're an American. And of course, your estate planning, updating your will, power of attorney, healthcare directives, that type of stuff. I mean, these are things that you should be thinking about no matter where you're going. Ooh.